Is it on, Jeff? How are you?
How are you?
Peachy. Should we test?
Does it work?
It's supposed to be.
Yeah, we'll test as soon as I get up and running.
Oh, sorry. It didn't record the last one. Oh yeah, it's on.
It's working?
Yep. Well, at least we're on TV.
That's showing up on YouTube. That'll do. What's that?
What time is it? We have 13 minutes. Whew. An extension?
Yeah, because I need to keep my laptop plugged in and I'm too far from the...
Let's see.
Too far. Can I just peek in the back and see if there's a...
I know there's some of the safe. Is that good enough, Mike?
Yeah, that'll work. Thank you.
It's very quiet in here tonight.
What's that?
It's quiet. It's super quiet.
Oh, it'll get busy. Don't you think so?
Mm-hmm.
I can't get over. Every time I turn around, there's another document that needs to be signed for that grant. And if you don't do everything...
By the book, yeah.
Is that your computer?
Yeah, it's the fan's going bad.
Oh, I was going to say.
It should, if we're lucky, it'll quiet down, so we'll see.
No, you shouldn't leave it out in the cold car.
Right.
So we have 10 minutes. Putting it together. And she didn't write it. I wrote it. Yeah, well, you guys were supposed to add something, but she put it together, I think. Boy, that it's getting worse.
Yeah, you just give it a minute. I know it's bad.
You've been doing that for
That's
years,
the worst.
haven't you?
Yeah, I remember, I was just,
I think regular citizens have more schmoxy than board members.
Keep everything important.
Karen.
Whatever you install.
Is that yours? Oh, yeah. I wish I could send for my husband. I could, but it'd be against the law. Can you do it?
Are you taking the call?
Could be the other day on the.
This one will be,
Monday it's
Gary, this one will be rejected.
God, I hope not.
It's usually to roller coasters. Couple crappy experiences too. Yeah, I mean, a couple big ones. There's some that's inferior. What's that? Yeah.
This is a pretty good so far, really.
You're on the board.
Yeah.
Why not for lunch? You could get one. Tyler. That's it. Out the other day. Oh, yeah, Jerry.
Other than that,
That's
I don't.
Oh, yeah. And then,
I mean, now you know, starting, I was working on every other part of the
oh, you know, you only
Not
need
even-
20.
Like we only have 27. He asked if he can have up to 100.
Dylan did that when he ran. Got 100 signatures.
One has sisters, and his sisters on.
Wrap up till we go there.
just kind of riding it off both sides, huh?
You read it, I still do that, I still do that.
Yeah.
Did every month.
Do you need it?
I know, I do that all the time, wherever, can you give that to Harry? Everywhere I go.
That's an
They'll say, where,
That's the original Jane Finch print.
oh, is it really?
Sure.
Is it from that show?
Performance.
Oh, you're kidding.
You got a pile of these at home.
Well, give me, I'll take them.
Right.
They remind me of Jane.
On January 15th, she'll be out in business.
Oh, I thought she was retired already. Look at Mario. Mario, are you worried? You can see her face.
Yes. No, but she sold it off that street.
Oh,
She gets so much of the income the first year, reduces the second year, reduces down the third year.
Can I ask a question quick? Is this the current zoning map?
It's probably not up to date. I mean, it's relatively current, but there's been changes since. that
I don't think,
time.
yeah, 2019
Yeah, there's.
is the
there's been a
last
few
time.
changes.
Is there a particular property we can help you with?
Well, I'm looking at the Guthrie property that you're talking about rezoning or doing whatever.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering what it was zoned.
Oh, I will go over all that as part of the meeting, but that one is, property is. It's A5.
So it's ag?
Yeah, it's A5.
Okay.
Well, I'll cover that as part of the
I
presentation.
just wanted to know the zone.
Sure, current zoning.
Five more minutes, guys. We have to be real gentle with that cord. So if you gotta scooch over a little bit more.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay, I might have to go a little bit.
Or else,
We used to use the blue one.
yeah, and that one doesn't work.
Okay. All right, should we try it real quick?
Yeah, let's test it, because we got 5 minutes. You gotta count to 5. Oh, I know why. Output.
Yeah, okay. That works, okay. I'll just leave it plugged in if you wanna flip them back and forth. and-
Yeah, definitely. Watch me miss my chair. Whoa.
Don't do that.
It's okay for plan commission, but she's got the wrong agenda.
You're leaving at 6, you're leaving your truck at 5.
She's got the wrong agenda.
Then someone's calling for them, stuff like that. It's really not a place for
This isn't right in the back.
Done for a while.
Plan commission is fine. Yes, but the agenda was amended.
Your family has quieted down, hasn't it?
Yeah, it kinda comes and goes now a little bit, so,
You got 2 minutes.
my apologies.
Just a while to swedge up.
Sean, just don't take too fast.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta get a better, I feel bad for Mario. And Mike.
Where's the end of that?
They look like they're at the kids.
There's room over here too, you know.
I know.
Where's the end of that?
He had his knee replaced. So he's got a pass.
Should be the right one.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I did send him a text. He said he was doing good.
Okay.
And he had the black. Oh, he had the black. That's nice. You don't feel anything. You wake up.
Kate's gonna have that.
Oh,
She's getting her knee replaced.
just, oh, that's,
With the knee block. Block.
who's her doctor?
You get rid of it. Go.
At the orthopedic surgical, Holiday?
Yeah, I think so.
They're good guys there.
Huh?
They're all good doctors there.
Was that the wrong one?
Mm-hmm. I'm watching time. Oh. We have 1 minute, guys. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Wednesday, December 11th at 6 p.m. I'm going to call the Village of Vernon Village Board and Plan Commission meeting to order. Would you please rise for a pledge of allegiance to the flag and a moment of silence?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. I'll be giving a roll call. President Chu is here. Trustee Pega,
Here.
Trustee Finch?
Here.
Trustee Newman?
Here.
Trustee Millies?
Here.
Note for the record that there is a quorum of the village board. Call the plan commission to order. President Shu is here. Trustee Commissioner Millies?
Here.
Commissioner Rinaldi?
Here.
Commissioner Alex?
Here.
We'll note for the record that there is a full quorum of the village board and plan commission. Also note for the record that Sean Malarkey, our zoning administrator and planner, is here also. We are in full compliance with the open meetings law, and with that, I'm going to read our first this is our only public hearing. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing by the village board and plan commission will be held on Wednesday, December 11th, 2024 at 6 p.m. at the Village of Vernon Hall located at W249 South 8910 Center Drive to consider a request for the applicant, Jose Pilazar, for a property owned by the Pilazar property located at W224 South 6800 Guthrie Drive in the Village of Vernon. The property is identified by tax key number 2017981 for the issuance of a conditional use permit to allow a contractor's yard per section 322 B 4 of the Village of Vernon Code of Ordinances. All parties will be heard. I just wanted to explain to the public what's going to happen as our planner and zoning administrator, Sean Malarkey, is going to give an overview of the proposal. And then also we'll ask the applicant, Mr. Pilazar, are you here? Mr. Pilazar, if you would please come forward right here. What's going to happen after our zoning and planning administrator gives the overview, we're going to ask if there is anything that the petitioner wants to add to the proposal. And then what's going to happen is we're going to entertain comments from the public. When the public is done making their comments, we'll turn to the village board and plan commission for their comments. Then we'll bring it back for comments from the public and to the plan commission and board, and we'll continue that till all public comments have been heard. For the public, when you do come up and make a statement, Mr. Pilazar will take a seat when it's public comments, and if you could, we're going to ask you to state your name and address for the record, because it is a public hearing and record all that information. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Sean Malarkey to give an overview of the applicant's proposal.
Thank you. There we go. So the property in question is here at the southeast corner of National Avenue and Guthrie Drive. This is about an 8.7 acre property. There's a existing house and a large barn and a detached garage in the property. There's a driveway here off of Guthrie Drive, which is a county road as well. There's a fair amount of landscaping on the property and along the perimeter. There's some landscaping on the south property line, all the way on the Guthrie Drive frontage, and then also on National Avenue as well. The petitioner owns the subject property, the 8.7 acre property, and also owns the property directly east, which is about 5 acres. The property is zoned A5 mini farm, which I'm turning the zoning layer on now. The county's map is a little bit slow, but it is coming up. It's A5 mini farm, as is the property directly east and directly south. Properties to the west across Guthrie Drive include some single-family homes. Those are zoned R1. There's a home directly across that's also zoned B1. And then as you go north across National Avenue, you have a combination of A3 zoning and R1 zoning as well. If you look at the comprehensive plan for the area, here's the property that we're talking about. The red properties on the land use plan map are planned for commercial uses. So the entire southeast corner is planned for commercial use all the way down National Avenue. And then the striped properties here are essentially our residential business transition district that are planned to potentially transition to commercial uses at some point in time, with a little more recognition for context and sensitivity to context as those transition over to business as well. So this property is ultimately planned for commercial use. Again, what's being proposed is a contractor's yard. Here's the petitioner's plan for the property. Here's the existing driveway off of Guthrie. What they'd like to do is essentially have employee parking here south of the existing barn, and then they would be parking their trucks, their dump trucks essentially, behind the existing barn or to the east as well. They plan to use a gravel drive and parking area as part of the operation. There are a number of specific conditions for contractors' yards in the zoning ordinance that they have to meet. And one of them is you have to have at least 5 acres, which they do. All buildings and areas have to be at least 100 feet from all residential property lines and 50 feet from all other property lines. And as you can see, it doesn't quite meet that. So the employee parking is 85.7 feet off the south property line, which is the residential property to the south, and then the ag property, also owned by the petitioner, to the east. The dump truck and the parking area is only a little less than 12 feet. However, if you recall, we did make some changes recently to the language that allows some discretion. So if the Plan Commission feels that, based on compatibility with surroundings and landscaping, etc., those setbacks can be reduced as low as the minimum offsets required for the zoning district. So for the A5 zoning district, that's 30 feet. So you can go as close as 30 feet to the property lines if the Plan Commission chooses to relax it. So again, this is 85.6 feet, and then to the east, you still can't meet the 30 feet. I have talked about this with the petitioner, and the petitioner is willing to either combine both of the properties as a condition of approval, or potentially jog the property line or combine some of the property to the east with the main property to make sure that at least 30 feet are met, or whatever the Plan Commission finds acceptable in terms of the distance. Again, the property's got to have access to a arterial or collector road, which it does, being kind of trunk highway. A planting screen of at least 10 feet high is required surrounding the use. Again, there is a lot of substantial landscaping that's part of this. I'm going to open up. This is an overview of the property from sort of a bird's eye view. West is sort of up on this. Here's Guthrie. Here's the barn. The dump trucks would essentially be parked here. The employee parking would be over here to the south. And you can see there's a fair amount of existing landscaping that already exists to buffer the property. The petitioner is not proposing any additional landscaping, but that doesn't mean the Plan Commission couldn't require additional landscaping if you found it necessary. You have to determine that's compatible with surroundings. You have to provide a site plan, which they did. There's a couple of other minor things here about storage of materials and so on. So the plan of operation that's essentially being proposed would be contractor's yard for a transportation business, no office use associated with the operation at this location. They'd have up to 10 employees. They would store 10 dump trucks in the property as designated on the site plan, as we've just talked about. Additional equipment may be stored inside of the barn, the existing barn. Outdoor storage of material or equipment, excluding the trucks themselves, is prohibited. There'll be no materials transported by the trucks onto the property, and then hours of operation would be Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. A couple of the things I wanted to add. One, we normally require asphalt or concrete for commercial operations. We have had a number of contractor yards come into the village, and we have allowed them to do gravel through an exception to those design standards. The petitioner is proposing gravel here, so that's what he'd be asking for. No signage is currently proposed. The petitioner did talk to Waukesha County about stormwater management, and they've issued a letter for an exception that essentially said that there's no there'd be essentially no impact to stormwater. And they've also talked to Waukesha County regarding the access onto County Trunk Highway U as to whether or not there'd be any improvements required for the driveway, and the county has said that there would be no driveway improvements such as an XL decel lane based on the use of the property, so that is not required. So that's all I have for an overview of the project.
Thank you, Sean. Mr. Pelzer, did you want to add any information?
Yeah, no, just the business hours. So my drivers, they normally come 6 o'clock in the morning, park the cars from the trucks on, because our job size is like 20 half-hour radius around my property. So and they come back sometimes 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. But at this moment, I only have 4 trucks. The reason I had 10 because I'm planning to grow up. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but at the moment, we only have 4 trucks.
And I'm sorry, you said the vehicles leave the property at what time?
My drivers come in at 6 o'clock because when they send me dispatch, sometimes we got dispatch for 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock. It's not the same all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But they normally come around 6 o'clock, park the cars, put the trucks on, because we gotta let the air bill air, and they go to the job site.
And that's in the plan of operation. It's 6 a.m. What you're saying is 6 at the earliest, but it might be a little bit
Yeah,
later.
later, yeah. So it's not all the time.
Okay. So anything else you wanted to add to your proposal before we open up for public comments?
No, just whatever we gotta do, to make it happen, so I don't have a problem.
Okay.
I don't want no issue with nobody,
Okay.
Just wanna make this fair for everybody. Like, this is I'm a small business, and I'm trying to bring more jobs for our community.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you just want to have a seat, don't go too far away. We're just going to open up for public comments.
Sure.
Is that all? Is it? Okay, so what I'd like to do right now is there anyone that would like, if anybody wants to come forward and give a public comment, once again, what we'd like you to do is state your name and address for the record. Does anybody want to come forward to make a comment? Steve, Mr. Posey?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Steve Polson. I live at W225 South 68 Guthrie Drive. I am an owner and operator right across the street. I've been operating here for 33 years. We've never had an issue with anybody about our operation and everything. Just recently, we opened another shop on Beckwan on Jamesville Road. I didn't want to go there because our operation got bigger. So we didn't want to disturb the neighbors, the trucks and traffic and everything. So, but I still use my place once in a while to come home and, with my trucks and that. We had to keep everything inside in our area, in the building when we first started, and that's what we've been doing all the time. And I like to see that being done. No trucks outside at all. I think that the neighbor's been in without permits operating already out there. He's been starting at 5:30 in the morning, and trucks getting in at 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. Sometimes 6 days a week he's out there. So he's been overusing, without permits there and filling in areas and stuff like that. So at this point, I just I'm not in favor of this project right now. Too much truck traffic and everything else. So we're just strictly the whole neighborhood was strictly set up as a owner-operator type deal, not a big construction business there. So, and everybody's got nice properties, and we like to keep it that way. We all get along in the area. So I just like to see it that way. So not that somebody comes in and starts violating everything and that. So, and the other thing is he's got properties up on Behind. Why he's moving down here, I don't know. I've got a question about that because Waukesha County's taking a lot of there because you don't have permits or something, or the neighborhood's all complaining about his business there too, or so that's all I gotta say then. So.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your comments.
Sure.
Additional public comments? Sir?
Yes. My name is Darrell Lockran. I own the property out west 224 South 6840 Guthrie Drive, right next door to the south. Everybody seems to forget about it. It's right between the freeway and the property that we're talking about. And it's a residential house. I really don't want
Is it
trucks.
this, oh, I'm sorry, we're not on that.
I really don't want trucks at 6 a.m. in the morning or earlier, employees earlier in the morning. I thought there was a ordinance at 7 a.m. you could make noise in the town of Vernon. Maybe that's false, I don't know.
Mr. Nakaradi, excuse me, can you, Sean's gonna point out.
Is that your property?
Yes, that is my
Okay,
property.
gotcha.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
And so I really don't want trucks in and out of there before 7 a.m. or running before 7. I know diesel trucks, I've worked with the equipment my whole life. And yeah, they're pretty loud at, 5 o'clock in the morning, you're out there idling and doing whatever. And if they're running other equipment out there, I really don't care for it. And I've owned that property, my family's owned that property for over 50 years, so I really don't want this property to
Okay.
change.
Okay, thank you. Additional public comments. Mr. Kaczynski?
That's me. Mike Kosinski, West 225-6855, Guthrie. I've been a neighbor of Steve's for 30 years. He runs a business out of his location, but you'd never know it. Everything's covered up, you don't see anything, it's just like having a residential neighborhood. So I'm concerned now that we have a big kind of a construction type company moving in an area where I thought after 30 years I could sell my house and make a profit. One thing I hope you guys consider is the danger of that corner. We've had some serious accidents on Guthrie and National where people have been thrown into the ditch. The helicopter has flown in to save people. And if you got 10 trucks, coming out at any point in time of the day, I think that's going to create even more danger. So that's all I have to say, except I care.
Thank you. Additional public comments, and once again, I just want to remind the public, we'll do this back and forth so everybody's done speaking. Additional public comments at this time? What I'd like to do at this time is turn to the Plan Commissioner and Village Board. If you have any comments that you'd like to make, or anything from the Village Board or Plan Commission?
Sean, I got a couple of questions for you. The proposed driveway that goes alongside the barn, if you remove the parking spaces that are next to it, that'd be 100 feet from the lot line, wouldn't it?
Right here?
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, if these are gone, this would be 100 feet, right.
And then, I'm not sure how wide's that barn in back, how many spaces are hidden by the,
You're saying if the parking could be back here
yeah,
somewhere?
it's all, because, yeah, everything's hidden behind the barn. The only people are really gonna see is from the freeway.
But they're still gonna drive to the south of the barn.
Wait.
between the two properties.
Yeah, it's because this is a public hearing, you have to,
Yeah.
only when you're brought up to the mic. Yes, you could meet that 100-foot setback if those got moved somewhere else. I don't think you can fit them all over here, unless we, as the petitioner mentioned, we could potentially combine some of this property and make more room to the back. But again, they're still traveling back and forth through here. The trucks are traveling through here, the cars are traveling through here.
I was just trying to keep the 100 feet from the residence.
Yeah, that would satisfy that condition if those got moved.
But in reality, he only really needs space for 4 trucks and 4 employee vehicles, not 10.
Currently, right.
And then with the lot next to him, if that gets narrowed up, is there enough frontage on National over there then to develop that lot in the future?
Let's take a look at that. Yeah, so it's a relatively narrow lot, but what I was thinking, we haven't talked about this fully, is that if this gets pushed out, maybe the back portion of this property gets added here, and then you leave the rest up front to develop, or combine the whole thing. One of the two would make the most sense. But yeah, if you added some to the back, you'd have more room to put the business back there behind the barn, for sure. I guess one point I should make that I didn't make before, conditional uses since 2017 in the state of Wisconsin essentially are permitted uses, provided you can meet all the conditions that are in the ordinance and any other reasonable condition that's, that's set forth by the planning commission or board. So you can't deny this just because for whatever reason. If he can meet all of the requirements in the ordinance and any other reasonable condition, it has to be approved per the law. So I just want to make that clear. You can require more landscaping, you can require more setbacks, you can move things around and so on and so forth, but you can't flat out deny it.
I was just trying to reduce the noise from the neighbors next door when they're not.
Yep,
doing
all that
trucks.
is on the table for discussion, for sure.
That's what I was saying, we'll keep the 100 feet, maybe plant a little more landscaping along that driveway to help buffer the sound.
What about the quantity of trucks? Can we, I guess,
Sure.
work on something like that? Because I'd love to see, I guess, compliance before opening it up wide to something like 10 trucks.
Yeah, I mean, I guess one of the conditions for contractors' yards is finding it to be compatible. So in the end, if you don't find it to be compatible, because there's too many trucks or otherwise, or you can't resolve all the issues, that would be one reason to either pare it down or deny it if you had a mind to do that, sure.
Other comments or questions from the planning commission or board?
Sean, do we normally have parking and such outside like this without, I noticed in your...
Mario, can you use your microphone?
I saw in the write-up that there's no lighting proposed. Is that something we would normally have that's required for parking vehicles and such and people? I guess one thing we're gonna have to settle is this issue of the hours. Whether trucks are done at 3, 4 o'clock or whether they're driving at night.
Mm-hmm.
But,
So do we absolutely require lighting?
yeah, we require lighting, and what are the restrictions
I think it's
for
come up,
hours
it's come up in
lighting?
discussions for lighting, but again, they're not proposing any lighting, so we didn't.
Yeah, I don't know if it's more of an assist or a distraction.
We have a light post from the previous owner already there, so that's why we don't.
Where is that located?
What's that?
Could you come up to the mic?
Yeah, come up to the microphone, please.
Yeah, there's already existing light on the property from the previous owner.
Where is the light?
Right by the driveway, where by the garage, between the garage and the pole barn.
So right in here somewhere?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, right here on this.
So that would provide a little bit of light
Yeah.
in this area, but not behind the
Yeah.
barn, for instance.
And then being a contractor's yard, we're not allowing dumping of material.
No, yeah, one of the conditions is no material be brought back to the property. Obviously, they have some equipment and other things that would be potentially stored in the barn, but no material is brought back.
So, help us understand why you have neighbors complaining about trucks late at night versus 3, 4 in the afternoon being done.
Well, my drivers, they come back around 4, 5 o'clock. And in summertime, probably 6 o'clock, but we never get back after that. And I can prove tickets when we got signed out, what time they signed out and everything. Sometimes, these few months when I bought the property, I was working on the property a lot, cleaning, there was a lot of stuff we got to get done. Probably that's why they heard a lot of noise. And on the back, I did a lot of cleaning because there was a huge drop off and everything. So we can park the trucks in the back so they don't see them.
Okay.
Would the trucks fit in that building?
Probably 3 or 4, but I was planning to use the building because we also do hay, like custom bale hay. Their property, I was renting their property from the previous owner, from Skip, to storage our hay, because we bale hay too, and I was storage the hay wagons there. So I was using their property for years. But when he decided to sell it, that's when I bring my business, my trucking business over there, because I thought there was gonna be no issues. And I talked to I think it's his house, the people live there, and they told me there was no issues, they don't mind, because there's already a lot of noise from the freeway on the property, so there was no difference.
Did you have a permit for your business and wherever you were before?
Yeah, I was renting from Waukesha Landscape and Waukesha Downtown, the yard.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we park the trucks, because we only come in the morning, jump on the trucks and go.
So you didn't have to get any type of permit or anything?
No.
Nothing?
Because we rent spaces from them before.
And that's the city of Waukesha or the
Yeah.
village?
City of Waukesha.
City? Okay.
Just right on the corner of 30 and 59 by Audi.
Mm-hmm.
There's a storage units over there and yard, like contractor's yard.
So, help us understand, for your business with these trucks, are they just going out once a day, or are they coming and going?
No, once a day. The first month they see a lot of trucks coming in and out, because I was bringing like clean fill to fill on the back so we can park the trucks. But they said I did some grading in the back, clean up and everything. You guys welcome to come to the property.
Yeah, that doesn't help us understand how you operate.
Yeah, they only comes once a day, so they come in the morning because we sign up for Penning and Olin, Johnson's and Sons and the gravel pits. So we go there and they told us where to go. And end of the day they sign out and we come back home empty.
Okay.
So did you say you haul, what do you haul?
We do like gravel for Johnson's, the gravel
Okay.
pin crowbar and Penning and Olin like asphalt. And Johnson and Sons, Fisher, Bite, for all these new constructions.
Doesn't Payne and Dolan, when they do road projects, don't they do them at night?
And now we don't.
God, I see on the freeway they're not during
Yeah,
the
they
day.
use their own trucks. They only use us when they don't have enough trucks.
No,
We
Payne
lease-
and Dolan doesn't, I'm sorry, my husband's in the trucking business. Payne and Dolan
Yeah.
doesn't own trucks to bring
Yeah,
the
we
gravel.
don't really do that much for Penn and Nolan.
Okay.
What about there's a residential house there that's not, did I miss, was that talked about at all in? is
Oh,
it still
the house
used
that's on
or-
the property now. There is an existing house on the property, that's rented out.
Yeah, there's my stepson and my daughter lives on their house,
Okay.
and he drives one of the trucks also. So the property's under somebody's looking every day. Because the little house next between my property and the freeway, I went there and talked to the neighbors. I think they're like tenants, and they come by us and we chat and they don't have no issues.
Which ones?
The house the
This
little
one?
house right there, that house. I don't know who owns that one, but I don't think the owner lives there. It's the tenants.
The owner's here, he spoke.
The owner.
Oh, huh.
The owner. Okay.
Any additional comments right now? We'll come back to Plan Commission.
Tonight, we would have to approve it as it's written, though, right, we couldn't make any changes.
Yes, you can.
We can make changes, we can require changes as part of this. If we make changes, we may choose to bring it back one more time and that kind of thing before we finally approve it.
Or if the Plan Commission and Village Board feel that you want to go out there as a group, we would notice that as a meeting. If you need to collect more information, because since it's a conditional use, we can't go out there individually. But if you feel you need to go out there as a group, we would,
Post a meeting.
Yeah.
We can find a space. I mean, we can stay away from the neighbors. I mean, I don't want to make them noisy either. So.
Mhm. Any other additional comments right now from Plan Commission or Village Board? There's none, so what I'm going to do is ask the public if there are any additional comments from the public. If you'd like to come forward and make any additional comments. Sir, you want to come forward?
My name's Tyler Polson. My parents are at the address at W225 South 6835 Guthrie Drive. I am part owner in Steve's Trenching with them. I want to make a point that we are a lighting contractor. Lighting would include a lot of lighting pollution in the neighborhood. So that I'd be against the lighting. Second of all, my other concern is we've operated out of there for 30 plus years. We've strictly followed the rules that were set for us back at the time of 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. We follow those, our neighbors respect us. We have since downsized our operation a little bit there due to our expansion of our company. We operate under another conditional use in the town of Waterford, and they hold us to the same standards, actually stricter standards than what we were in Big Bend. Once again, we have the respect of all the neighbors. We operate within our hours. My other concern is he doesn't have conditional use permits right now, and he's operating out of there. He has been filling the property. Trucks have been coming and going all day long. I'm concerned at what point is he going to be held to the rules of the conditional use. We've followed them for all these years, and I guess I would expect someone else to follow them strictly as we have. So.
Tyler, you said Big Bend. Is your business in Big Bend or Vernon?
What's that?
You said Big Bend. Your business in Big Bend. Are you in Big Bend or Vernon?
Oh, Big Bend, I'm sorry.
No, Vernon.
Or Vernon. Vernon, yeah.
We're in Vernon.
Yeah. The condition, our main office is out of Guthrie Drive there, straight across the street from this property.
So I just wanted to clarify that.
Okay,
Not a problem. I just wanted to clarify.
I do have pictures of what has been filled in on the property here, if you guys would like to see them.
Tyler, do you want to start with Commissioner Alex, and then what he'll do is pass
I would
it
like
on.
to touch on what he said about the lighting. I tend to agree. I think it almost will, I guess, invite non-compliance when it comes to the hours. We add lights, if that makes sense.
And if I could add, we've been held to everything has to be housed indoors. So all our trucks throughout the years and equipment has been stored inside a building. If you drive by, you wouldn't even know we operate out of there, because we follow it and we try to respect our neighbors.
And I have to say, when Mr. and Mrs. Polsey, and I know Tyler, you were just a little tiny guy when they started, but back then, I just have to state, there's been a lot of changes. That painters union wasn't there. Enterprise Business Park was there. Oh, that was there when you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Where's the
No,
Enterprise?
Tech had all that. Road traffic,
Right.
customs.
Yeah, no, that wasn't there
No.
when we.
Yeah, so there, I know the Plan Commission was pretty strict about having everything, because there was a lot of neighbors concerned. Mike, were you there at that time?
Sure.
Okay. I'm sorry, Tyler, did
No,
you?
that's
any
okay.
other-
And then the other thing is that the proposed areas, while there might be landscaping there, it's still clearly visible through the windows of the houses. So that's another concern as far as property value in the future, and what it might you see from the road. So.
Okay. Anything else, Tyler?
Nope.
The ditch line?
The swale going through the property, so.
The one is on
Yeah, I guess we were concerned if he was gonna be.
Excuse me. Nobody else can talk. Tyler, you've got the floor.
I guess the other concern that they had was if he was filling the property and the runoff water from our side of the street does run through his property. So if there was gonna be any fill-in, that would be a concern too. So, but it doesn't sound like it's affecting that lower area.
Anything else, Tyler?
No, that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Are there any other comments from the public at this time?
I have a comment. Or you want to?
I'm sorry, I'll get you next. Linda, you have to state your name and address.
Linda Polzine, W225 South 6835. As you realized, we've lived there for 30 years. And I've never been bothered by any of the neighbors. But I'll tell you, this summer was rough. 5:30 in the morning, they're running. And they're hauling, and they're dumping onto their property. Now, I don't understand how people who live there already have no say whether this business goes in or not. 10 dump trucks in a residential area is quite extensive. And even the 4 dump trucks, if that's what he's running, was running during the summer, that was a lot. Lot of noise, a lot of traffic. So right now, I'm gonna be no, I don't want it. Like I said, we've been paying taxes all these years and we don't have an opportunity to say yay or nay to a business that's going in. I don't think it's proper for all the other residents that are around. So.
Anything else?
Oh, let me check my notes real quick. Oh, yeah, and I said isn't there something when they're filling in, they need a DNR approval?
So, speaking about the filling, I wasn't aware of the filling and the grading and the property. That's not something we talked about. It's not something that I don't think the applicant talked about with the county, although maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. It's DNR is not, unless they're filling a wetland, then
I
DNR is
wasn't
involved.
sure,
But the village and the county both are involved in permitting for grading and stormwater management. So
Yeah.
if that's happened without approvals, then that should not have happened.
Yeah, well, it's happening, and it is, yeah.
And we will, no matter what happens, I'll call Marissa tomorrow. She's our stormwater agent because they are very, very strict. I don't know when in the conversations, maybe she knew, but I'll talk to either Marissa or
Yeah,
Elaine.
and grading over a certain amount is supposed to be approved by the village as well. So
Okay.
none of that has happened. It's news to me.
Yeah, and
Have
I
you
don't-
seen the pictures that have been going around?
Those haven't gotten to me yet. Thank you.
Anything else, Linda?
No, that should do it.
Thank you. Mrs. Kaczynski, and then Mr. Knockred, I'll get you next.
Patty Krasinski at W225S6855 Guthrie Drive. My main concern is the safety of the area. There are new subdivisions going just around the corner down National. Traffic has increased greatly. There obviously are no sidewalks. I have a special needs son that I like to get outside and walk, and it's becoming harder and harder to do that safely. There are emergency vehicles zooming up and down, so it makes me really nervous to add even more sizable vehicles just right in that little area around that corner. You know, if the county wants to come in and build a right turn lane or make that road a little more, I don't know, accessible or easy to get around, maybe then. But my main concern is the safety, and other families around there are having grandkids and stuff, and it'd be nice to be able to go outside and walk up and down the road a little bit.
You're talking about residential to the north?
We are to the west. We're just across the street. Yeah. So that's where I'm at.
Thank you, Mrs. Kaczynski. Mr. Knockred?
Yes, I am also concerned, I'm concerned mainly a lot about the operating hours, 6 a.m. And I know if you're starting a dump truck, diesel, cold in the winter, you're starting at 5:30. If they're getting that quarry, whatever, at 7, they're leaving early, 6-ish, to get to whatever quarry from Vernon. So I think they're leaving well before 6, or at least starting the trucks well before 6. Get them warm, ready to go. Tear it up. Anybody that has any dump truck air experience, they should know. You gotta start those things up and get them running plenty of early. That's just another concern I have, the hours of operation.
Thank you. Any other comments from, sir, way in the back? And if you wouldn't mind, just your name and address, sir.
Name is David Schultz. Address is S66W22470 National Avenue. I own the property on the northeast corner of Guthrie and National Avenue. Now, this is all the way across the field from where they are. Even though I'm a pretty good distance away, my biggest concern was the noise, especially this summer. I can hear the backup alarms I don't know what they're running on the property. I don't know if they're using their truck vibrators to clean out the boxes. But I've been woke up sometimes at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, at least 3 or 4 times this summer. I'm not opposed to them having a business if they adhere to the rules and adhere to the, especially the noise ordinance. But as far as I can tell, it hasn't been adhered to yet. Now, I was even down here complaining or asking if there was actual noise ordinance because of the hours in the morning that it was disturbing me. Once I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm done. I can't go back to sleep, and that pretty much ends my day. If you're going to allow it, I would like to see, as you mentioned, some sort of a sound barrier, but that's going to have to be along National Avenue as well. Because that sound travels through that field with no problem. I can hear, like I say, I can hear the gate slam, I can hear the vibrators run, I can hear the backup alarms. And if they're going to be leaving at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'll be up. That's my comment.
Thank you. Are there any other additional public comments at this point? Are there any questions? That's going to have the petitioner come forward in just a minute. Is there any comments from the Plan Commission or Village Board at this point? You got to speak into your microphone. Trustee Pecca?
Well, like people say, my concern is mostly about the noise. Like the gentleman says, the backup alarms, everything like at maybe 5 o'clock in the morning.
Anything else, Mr. Pecca?
No, that'll be all.
Any other comments from the Village Board or Plan Commission? Was the petitioner want to come forward? We'd just ask you just a couple of questions. Just for the record, you mentioned even in your comments that you were doing some grading and filling.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to note, to my knowledge, and I'll have to check with Vince, and I know Vince would check with you if there was a permit.
Yeah, Vince came to the property and looked at it.
Vince came out there?
He did.
And did he tell you you were allowed to fill?
He told me I was not doing anything wrong. The stuff I was filling in the back, the previous owner, he dig a lot because he used to dump the manure for the horses there, and that was easy for them to clean up. That's the only thing I covered, just the hole, the open. Everything is level now.
Okay.
But they're not gonna see trucks in and out no more. That was the first months because I want to get it before winter.
How many square feet do you think you did grading on?
The property probably was like 40 by 20, I think, 30. If you see the picture from the previous owner, you can see the huge drop off. And that's where they used to go, come outside the barn, they used to dump the manure, and they pile the manure there.
Which picture?
Right there. Yeah,
So this is where you did the grading?
No, the other side.
The north side.
Yeah, right there. Right there you can see there was a huge drop off.
Gotcha.
And when we used to come with the hay wagons from the building, we go really slow because there was like this. So now everything is level.
So in the other images we were looking at, it looked like it was quite a bit bigger than...
In these images?
Yeah. And it looked like there was some grading done on the south side of that pole barn as well.
Yeah, that's where I clean out. There was a lot of bunches, trees grow up, overgrow up and everything. I just clean up everything. And you can see I have a huge pile on the back. I still gotta remove part of the property. Like woods and branches.
In the winter, do you plug in your equipment, your diesel truck?
Yeah.
So how long, I mean, if they're plugged in all night, I'm assuming, in the cold?
We plug it probably around 8 o'clock at night.
At night?
That's why he lives there, yeah. So before he goes to sleep, he plug everything in. But we don't really have that much work in winter because everybody shut down for winter. So after Thanksgiving, we're almost done. Right now, I only have one truck running, and probably they notice. It's only one truck. And the other trucks, I have it on the yard, on the other yard, just to don't cause trouble.
So, out of curiosity, how many vehicles do you have at the other?
I have right now 4 total, but I only have 2 on Guthrie, and there's only 1 truck running now right now, because there's no work. After
Okay.
Thanksgiving, everybody shut down until March.
And is there anything you wanted to add after you heard
No,
the
just
comment?
whatever they want me to do, I mean, I don't have a trouble, I wanna work with them, you know what I mean? If we can combine the property and move the trucks back, but the noise that hurts a lot of noise from Highway 43 already. So my backup alarms, there's no difference in a motorcycle driving on 43.
Additional comments from Plan Commissioner or Village Board?
I sympathize with the people who went through the summer. I mean, but I think our question is about going forward. So it appears to me something has to be done about noise and hours. Even though this area is in the plan to be used for businesses, we do have to respect the nearby residences.
Absolutely, and you have to make a determination that it's actually compatible with the neighborhood. If you don't determine it to be compatible, whether it's 10 trucks or 4 trucks or whatever it is, then you have to deny it, because that's what the conditions say.
It seems that right now, well, it makes it difficult thinking about what this might be. And right now, we have upset neighbors given what happened over the summer.
Yeah, and I know, and I apologize to them, because when I bought the property, I bring a lot of, fuel to fill up, get everything ready before winter, because I know I was gonna shut down. But moving forward, they're just gonna see my drivers come in, turn the trucks on and go, and the trucks coming back end of the day. And I said, they're not gonna see trucks coming in and out.
So what's the practical means to reduce the noise?
Well, when we're talking about noise, what are we talking about? The
I
alarms?
think,
The backup alarms? What are we talking about?
But there's a lot of
are they
noise.
running for like a half hour or something before you go? Is that what it is?
Yeah, but they're really far away from where the truck's gonna be parked. You guys welcome to come to the property and see.
Well, I have to just state for the record, I mean, I personally would like to talk to Vince, I'd like to talk to the county, I mean, I need some more.
Yeah, the grading is a little problematic for me. Like I said, I didn't know, we didn't talk about the grading. I'm trying to look up the regulation now. There's a threshold in
I
terms of
think
how
it's
much.
10,000 square feet, and it looks like almost 20,000 square feet was disturbed.
Right, and the county.
Just guessing on Google Maps here.
Yeah, the county wants I think the county's is a half an acre disturbance before theirs kicks in, but ours is different. So it's usually reviewed by an engineer, and there's a permit involved, and so on and so forth. So that didn't happen. But you did talk to Vince, and Vince said it was okay. We should talk to Vince about
absolutely.
what he said.
I said, you guys welcome to come, and you see, before there was a lot of water stuck in there, so now the water goes down to the hill, where
Right,
the
so
water goes.
you probably made it better, but again,
Yeah.
that grading plan is usually reviewed to make sure. So yeah, my concerns are, again, as was talked about, the noise. It's the noise, and it's the setbacks, and it's potentially additional landscaping,
Some combination.
Yeah.
I don't think we can, at this time, approve anything. I'm agreeable for a field trip.
I mean, that absolutely can be done. The only bad thing is we're running into months that aren't so conducive for inspections, but we could, schedule a meeting with the Plan Commission and Village Board to go out and do together and do an inspection. In the meantime, get additional information on some of the things that were brought up, the filling. And did Vince think you had a permit to run?
No, he told me, that's how I find out I gotta get a permit and everything from him, because I thought there was gonna be no issue, because I was renting that property from Skip for years to storage our hay wagons and everything. So the only difference I did, I cleaned up that place and bring my trucks, and that's all I did.
So, and how many years were you renting from the property?
Like 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, we do hay together with Jim Porter, Terry Team. We are partners on the hay business.
Okay. And I just have to state for the record, I know this plan commission has seen a conditional use permit recently from someone that came from New Berlin, and I did check on his story also, and he had no permit, so I don't know what it is about city. This is the city of Waukesha and the city of New Berlin. The property owner on National Avenue was running conditional use with no permits. So hearing that you didn't have a permit
because
doesn't
we lease
surprise
our
me.
trucks to those contractors already, so we don't do work, we just lease our trucks.
Right. Who does your mechanical work on your equipment?
AM Towing, sometimes he does, and I have a place in Watertown, they do my DOT, everything.
So you don't do any
No,
truck
not
repairs on your?
We just sometimes we just aerial, whatever, check lights and everything, like pre-check inspections, but we don't do any mechanical work there.
Well, what I'll do is I'll just see if there's any more comments from the public, because I'm under the impression the Plan Commission and Village Board want to adjourn this to next month, so that we can schedule a site inspection of the property. Is that what I'm hearing from the, Sean?
I was gonna add one more thing related to the grading. So essentially, we have to bring grading in, improve grading at the Plan Commission level. For instance, when one of three things happens. One is when you increase or decrease the ground elevation greater than 4 feet at any point where the top or bottom of the slope is within 10 feet of the property boundary.
Yeah, there was no raise, we just went even with
Okay.
the other stuff.
Then increasing or decreasing the ground elevation steeper than 2 to 1, or a total elevation change of 6 feet or greater at any point. That didn't happen.
No.
And finally, bringing in greater than 1,000 cubic yards of fill. So that would have been and again, I don't know the answer to that question. Maybe you don't off the top of your head, but we should take a look at it.
Sean, do we have some sort of erosion ordinance that's
Yeah,
like
we do.
disturbing 10,000 square feet or
The
something?
erosion control ordinance essentially just, you know, you have to have you're gonna put a silt fence around everything, and you have to make sure that it's, really any disturbance activity, and Vince would be the one that would issue that erosion control permit, but and then the county is like a half acre or more requires stormwater management.
And Vince isn't here. I mean,
And we can ask him, we'll have an answer for next time.
Yeah, because he write me a letter about all these complaints, the noise and everything, and I come and talk to him in person, and that's how I find out I gotta do all these, paperwork and get a conditional permit and everything.
and I just wanted to state for the record, although Vince did a letter saying he's gotten complaints.
Yeah, he sent me a letter and.
I just wanted to state for the record, I as a board member had no knowledge.
Yeah, he
of
sent me a
anything.
letter in the mail, that's how I find out.
And did any other board members hear about complaints? Or I just wanted to state for the record, because take a lot of pride in doing our job, and if there's things like that happening, we weren't aware of it, just
Yeah,
so
no,
you
he
know.
sent me a letter in the mail and everything, and I come and talk to him in person.
So at this point,
So not that it matters, you considering more combining the two parcels or just splitting off?
I mean, I don't mind, I'm not planning to sell anytime soon. I can combine the properties, or I can move the property lines,
So yeah, I'm fine with either one, I was just curious what your preference was.
Yeah, no, I just wanna be able to run my business, So I got people that depend on me, and I got employees, I got families, so that's.
Sean, he'd have to do a certified survey map.
CSM either way, and that would be a condition of approval, or because we're postponing this, maybe, here's the thing I don't want to do. I don't want him to spend the money on doing that
Right.
if it's not going to be approved in the end. So what I'd like to happen, after we take care of business, essentially, is that if it does get approved, just have a condition of approval that has to happen to meet whatever setback requirement that, we have.
Would you be willing to do any building modification in order to get vehicles inside?
I mean, if that's what they want, I can fit 4 trucks inside the building now.
But you're applying for 10, isn't it?
Yeah, but I only have 4 right now. I was planning to grow up, because last year I only started with 1 truck, and I end up with 4. So,
You know, I really have a problem with the number of trucks, because they're all gonna be behind the barn, and your only place to use the freeway, and the freeway's gotta be noisy too.
yeah, it's really noisy.
So it's kind of, cancels each other out issue. You know, and, you know, the other neighbors, you know, they're required to store inside, but here, there's no view from behind the barn for anybody.
No, and I also send you pictures, from.
Yeah, I do,
On summer, so you don't really see anything.
right, winter's a little different,
Yeah.
obviously. Yeah, this is the driveway
Yeah,
entrance
this
to
is the
the
driveway.
property, and you can see, yeah, it's obviously pretty dense in the summertime, and then, is this on National or just further
National,
down?
yeah, I
on
took the
National?
picture from National, so you don't really see, you don't even see the building in summer.
Right, you can see some of that from here as well, and
Yeah,
again, that's
so
the
all over
driveway.
the whole line is all trees.
You know, the landscaping on this property line, though, between you and your south neighbor is maybe a little weak. There's,
Oh, by the little house?
yeah, the house to the south, I mean,
Yeah,
this
there's
is,
got some
you know,
landscaping already.
trucks would be coming in essentially here and behind the building, but, you know, right here is, there's not a lot of landscaping there.
Yeah, no, I can make whatever they want me to do. I can make a room or
So,
landscape trees.
A few pine trees or spruce trees or something there.
So, you know, I know we're talking about meeting at the site, but, you know, what if it was, instead of 10 trucks, it was reduced to 5 or 6, and the employee parking is behind the building as well, truck parking is behind the building?
Yeah, I'm okay with
And
5
what,
or 6.
and hours of operation, does it have to be 6?
Well, the problem is when they send me these specs, we gotta be on the job sites by 7. And I told my drivers, when they go out, just even turn the lights off so they don't, because I know that there's a houses across the street. I told them, don't turn the lights on until you guys on Guthrie. But there's already a lot of traffic already there, dump trucks, not my trucks, different people.
Sure, no, of course, Guthrie and National are both very
Yeah.
busy roads, we know.
I mean, like I say, I wanna work with them, I don't want no issues. I wanna be able to keep running my business.
Okay. Well, doesn't sound like there's gonna be a decision made tonight.
Yeah, I think we have too many questions open up, so.
Yeah, so at this, just so the public knows, if the Plan Commission and Board make a motion to reconvene this public hearing to January 8th, 2025, what'll happen then is you'd get another opportunity to give additional comments. What we would just be doing is adjourning the public hearing to January 8th, 2025 at 6 p.m. if that's the Plan Commission Village Board's pleasure. The other thing is, do you want to meet out at the site at 5 o'clock before the meeting? I mean, we'd have to notice both.
It's dark at 5 o'clock.
Oh, you play dark,
Yeah.
Couldn't start getting all the
Sean,
more-
you don't need to be there, do you?
I could be, but it's more important for the Planning Commission and Board to be there.
So the question is, I understand the reconvening, but when would the Plan Commission and Village Board want to go on that site? Because we'd have to notice it, it's part of a conditional use permitting process. So the agenda has to be done correctly. But when are you thinking that you'd like to go out as a group? Because we'd have to go out as a group.
As everybody kind of thinks about that, one of my big things would be, I think noise, visually things can be mitigated. Noise as far as the time, hours of operation, I think that's one of the big things when we're talking about noise. You're not going to be able to build a wall big enough, high enough, dense enough to stop that. It's the time of day. And also even going there, unless it's the main thing for me to go there would be to start up a truck and then go to the neighbor's house. It wouldn't be to look at trees or screening or anything like that.
Yeah. Is there any additional information before we schedule the meeting for next time, aside from more information on the grading that's been done on the property, additional information that me or the petitioner should be, to have for next time?
Did you see the letter from the county? Were you working with Jason or who were you? Do you remember who you were working with? The county highway
Jason
department?
Mayer.
He sent him my email on me.
Jason Mayer said there's no improvements required on Guthrie, right?
Because the driveway is really far enough from National and Guthrie, so there's no. he said it's not required.
I was gonna say too, if they can move the parking for the, employees' vehicles, then you're 100 feet away and you can't
Right.
say
That,
no to it at all.
well, that was said, we can still say no if we find it's ultimately not compatible. In the end, if you think that the noise and the hours of operation aren't compatible with the surrounding neighborhood, then, that's
I think
certainly.
next to the freeway, it's hard to argue it's not compatible, because you get a lot of noise from the
Yeah,
freeway.
if you guys come, you guys gonna hear a lot of noise, even in my trucks there.
The freeway's pretty quiet.
So,
Well, operating hours supposed to be at 6, if you start before 6,
No,
you can call
I'm
them.
gonna have my drivers, I can tell my dispatch, don't give me anything early, so they can start after 6.
So the question now is, like I said, I'm hoping reconvene, because I need more information. I don't know about other commission members, but is there anything besides the stormwater, the filling? I mean, you said you got...
filling and grading, we just need more information on that. Like what else? What other information can we find or get ahead of time?
I'd like to take a look at some of the other, conditional use permits in the, couple property radius too.
Yeah,
I think they should all be similar.
yeah, I'm not doing anything different, it's just like AM towing, there's a lot of contractors there already doing the same thing.
That's in Big Bend though.
Oh,
They're a lot different in Big Bend.
oh.
So specifically, the closest one is the one across the street, and we've heard from the owners there.
Yeah,
You want to look at their permit.
yeah, I would think so.
I don't know if it has a permit, but there's a big,
I thought it was mentioned they had a
on
conditional use
National
permit.
Avenue. I don't know, is this some kind of piping work or, I don't know if he's got a CU, but he's got a lot of equipment
And
there.
we've obviously done a lot of conditional use permits for contractors' yards. Those are bigger operations. Those are bigger yards, lots of trucks, directly on National Avenue. So the only nearby one is the one,
And the septic
the
place.
septic one, yeah.
And proven power must be a conditional use. I don't think that's own business there, is it? Proven power?
I don't know what they have.
I wasn't
It's
around.
been there forever, so.
Yeah, but I'm sure it would have to have permits, whether it's there. I think it was a board member that developed that. So if there's anything else, what we do, if there's anything else from staff, Sean needs to know now.
And I won't be able to dig those permits up if they exist.
Yeah, I'll
You'll
have to look.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to get them from the county because the records here are not the best, so. Well, at this point, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn this public hearing to January 8th, 2025.
Can I
For the
say
planning
something?
commission,
Yeah, but the public hearing isn't closed, but yes, you'll have to come up to the,
I'd like to know when that property went from agricultural A5 to commercial.
Well, A5 is the zoning, and it's still zoned A5. It's planned long-term for commercial, just like all the properties in the south side of National Avenue, but it's still zoned A5.
But the businesses around that you've all been talking about, they're either like AM Towing, even though they're Big Bend, they're in an industrial park.
I don't know what.
Kinda, sorta,
I don't know what their zoning is for
I
Big
don't
Bend
know
there.
either.
but,
I mean,
it's, and you talk about the freeway is nothing compared to what he does in the mornings. And he comes in and he dumps that truck, and that tailgate just swings at 8 o'clock. And it's irritating.
When you say dumps the truck, you're talking about the fill that was...
Yes.
Right, that's not the business he's gonna be running.
Well, it's still, how do you know? If we all have a complaint and he's in there, how do you control it? How do you, what?
How are you going to control that he follows the rules?
Yeah.
Well, we don't monitor everything, so if there's a complaint, and then it gets followed up on. So if something's going on and that's not supposed to be going on, and you see
What can be
something,
done at that point,
you
other
complain,
than-
and
well, we
then
can have
the
the sheriff's department come out, we have a contract with them, they can send them right out to the property.
Yeah.
And they can do it as soon as we get a phone call.
Because 4 dump trucks now is a lot. I mean, I have no clue where you live, but the freeway, you kind of get used to that freeway, and it's just a hump. The dump trucks are not a hump. And I went out with my dog at 5:30 in the morning, 5:30, and he's leaving with the lights on. So, yeah,
Okay.
that's just the way it is.
Okay, and like I said, when we reconvene in January, once again, we'll open it up for comments.
Yeah.
The comment
Right, yeah,
section is
it's
not.
still open, it's still open for public hearing, right, thank you.
Because nothing's really going to get resolved between now and.
Well, I think they want to look at the site for one.
And that's my question,
I
is,
wanna know what Vince has to say about the fill.
what I'll ask is Vince to come to the next hearing.
Real quick, Sean, can you just, for the people in the audience, can you pull up the zoning map so that we can kind of show them the comprehensive plan with showing the red, the transition area and then the commercial?
So the comp
The
plan?
comp plan again, just so that they can see why, someone hears commercial and they might think a strip mall, commercial means a lot of different things. Is this a commercial use? There's still a residence on it, but they're using it commercially. So everything in red there, one of which is this parcel and its, neighboring parcel. From a planning standpoint, the village is looking at it to say that's one of the small little red areas that we have that is conducive to commercial.
Yeah.
And so that's why we have we go from commercial to kind of a buffer zone to what we know is residential. So that from a planning standpoint, is why we target those areas.
Yeah, if you look at the map, there aren't a lot of commercial areas planned. The red is commercial. And so you can see there's a National Avenue, there's a couple of pockets of it. This being one of the long-term commercial areas planned for the village. Doesn't mean it has to be commercial, it just means as you develop and rezone, eventually the village will entertain commercial uses for this area. Again, the yellow with the red through it, like the property across the street, is the residential business transition district, where we're a little more careful because of all of the neighboring residential uses, for carefully evaluating that. But essentially National Avenue is, and it's been for a while planned for commercial use in the village.
Any additional comments at this point before we adjourn this public hearing to January 8th, 2025? I'd make a motion to adjourn the public hearing for the petitioner to January 8th, 2025 from the Plan Commission. Is there a second to my motion?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Rinaldi. Discussion from the Plan Commission? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I'll make an additional motion from the Village Board to reconvene the public hearing to January 8th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Is there a second to my motion?
Second.
Second by Trustee Newman. Discussion from the Village Board? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And I just wanted to tell the public, if there's comments that you want to get in, for the next meeting, send your comments to the clerk's office or any of the clerk staff. Don't send them to Plan Commission members or board members, because when it's a conditional use, we have to be very careful that the information we get is only given to us at the public hearing. It's not that we don't want to do our jobs, but we just need to follow the law. So if there's something that you want to add, please get that to the clerk's office, and that would be entered into the record in January. All right? All right. Well, with that, then, yes, I'm sorry.
So you guys want to come to the property site on that day, or?
Plan Commission, Village Board, Mike, I said, do you guys want to go out to the site?
And I can have one of the trucks there, so, we can turn it on, back up and everything.
To me, given the season and so on, I think if Vince is familiar with the property, and given the information we have with all the pictures and the, sky view, whatever, I don't think it's necessary for us to go on site. We're gonna see trees in the winter. We're gonna, I don't know that we're gonna get
Snow.
And I don't think we're gonna do it at 6 o'clock in the morning either, which the conditions are gonna be different at 6 o'clock versus the evening rush hour that you're gonna be combating anyways.
Yes, what size are your trucks, quad axle?
Quad axles,
No, we can't ask any more questions. It's adjourned till, so if you have more questions or comments, they gotta come back in January, because we're done now. But I just wanted to make clear that any comments, and it's not that I'm trying to be problematic, I just want to follow the law. So if commissioner members, if you're going to ask questions, it's going to be in January, and it appears that there's not going to be any meeting. It doesn't appear that any, if that changes, we'd let you know, but it appears that no one needs to come out to the property. But I can tell you, I can tell you that just dealing with the public, if we get comments, they're going to call the sheriff's department, and there'll be a record of.
It's fine, we're not doing anything illegal, so.
Okay, all right. Well, with that, anybody, you're welcome to come back in January, because I'm not gonna close the public hearing. And item 6, we won't take any action because the public hearing's adjourned. So we would move on to Tim Abrahamson, certified survey map. Tim, are you here? Tim, please come forward. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep, thank you all.
This is a certified survey map. Request is made by Tim Abrahamson for the certified survey map located at W255 South 8355 Highland Drive in the village of Vernon, tax key number 2079999, and a waiver per section 300-14A7 of the zoning ordinance for an accessory building waiver, total square footage. The plan commission shall make that determination. Sean, do you want to give an overview of Tim's proposal?
Sure. I won't spend too much time because we did talk about this last month. We approved the rezoning essentially for a conceptual development proposal. Lot 1 is, he created Lot 1, which is 5 acres. Lot 2, he's got the existing house and accessory buildings on it. That stayed rezoned A5. So we rezoned the property. We rezoned Lot 1 from A5 to rural residential density 5 acre based on the conceptual plan, with the requirement that he came back with the CSM and we got approval for the CSM. So he's asking for approval for that, and also asking for approval for a waiver for the number of accessory buildings on the larger property, which is Lot 2. Those all exist now. Essentially, we allow a limit of 2 accessory buildings unless it's a rural structure. But because we're essentially creating a new lot, or 2 new lots, they have to meet the requirements of the ordinance. They don't, and so there's a waiver that's being requested for the quantity there. Both lots meet the requirements of the zoning districts, the A5 and the RRD5 zoning districts. I do have a list on page 2 of all the accessory buildings that are on the property. There's essentially 9 accessory buildings. There's a shed, there's a carport, there's a detached garage, another shed, a coop, doghouse, another shed, and a couple of silos. So there's a number of them out there. A couple of them might be considered rural accessory structures, but there aren't enough to warrant, to bring it down to 2. So he still needs the waiver. And so the Plan Commission essentially needs to find that the waiver request is consistent with the general intent of the chapter, that it wouldn't adversely affect property owners, et cetera, et cetera. I don't have too much to add beyond that. A couple of general CSM comments. The signature line of the CSM needs to be updated for current personnel. The one other thing I wanted to add, based on the village attorney's comments, is that Lot 1, which one does it show? Here it is. There's an easement. There's a 20-foot easement proposed on Lot 1 to essentially get back to the farmland at the back of the property. That's fine. The easement's fine. However, we would like to see it removed from the certified survey map because it's purely an agreement between private property owners. I know you own both lots now. But essentially, it's got nothing to do with our approval or access that's required as part of the creation of these 2 lots. And so we feel it should be on a separate easement that's recorded between, doesn't need village review, just has to be recorded with the Register of Deeds. It shouldn't be on the CSM.
Okay.
Then we have a number of technical comments from our surveyor, none of which has to be talked about tonight. Just bring it back to your surveyor and have them updated. Doesn't have to come back to plan commission. We would just take a peek and make sure it met the requirements. So
I actually already sent that out.
okay, that's great. So that essentially that's all I really have for comments. There are 2 agenda items, one for the CSM and then one for the waiver.
Right, right. And Tim, is there anything you wanted to add to Sean's update? And Plan Commission and Village Board, I know you've heard and seen this. Is there any, because what I would hope that we do is that the Plan Commission would discuss the waiver first and then we'd go into the certified survey map. And I hope you understand the attorney's comments. He doesn't want the village to get involved in what he believes to be, that could be a civil issue. The less the village has to do with individual matters. Tim, I'm sure you understand that.
You know, I think the reason it was kind of important from the beginning was from a conceptual point of view.
Right.
How is the farmer going to be accessing that land? And because of the way, but yeah, no, I completely agree. I get it. That makes all the sense.
And you being in real estate, you know how to address it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Makes all the sense. Makes it all.
So, Village Board, if you don't mind, I'd like to turn to the Plan Commission because there's portions of the zoning code that the Plan Commission has to make a determination, and I'll state them for the record, whether the request or waiver modification, if granted, would be consistent with the general intent of the ordinance, whether the request or waiver modification, if granted, would adversely affect property owners in the surrounding area, whether the request or waiver modification, if granted, would benefit the petitioner's project in a way that is not consistent with the village's interest, whether the petitioner is in full compliance with the applicable ordinances and agreements with the village, and whether instead of granting the request, the waiver modification ordinance itself, which should be changed to accommodate this type of situation. Plan Commission members, this is just Plan Commission. Obviously, on E, I'm sure we all agree we would not want to amend our ordinance to have everything. Does the Plan Commission agree that we would not do any amending? Does the Plan Commission agree that Mr. Abrahams is in full compliance with ordinances and all agreements? I'm seeing all Plan Commissioners shake their head. This waiver, if it was granted, would be not consistent with the village's interests for this particular development. Plan Commission is saying no. Whether the waiver modification would adversely affect surrounding property owners, I'd say no. Does Plan Commission, okay. And then would it be consistent with the general intent of the ordinance? Plan Commission agree with that? So Sean, just for the record, the Plan Commission went through all the ordinances, and do you want a separate motion to grant the accessory building waiver request?
Yes.
I would make that motion that the Plan Commission grant the waiver from section 314 A:5 of the Village of Vernon zoning ordinances per section 314A:7 for the zoning code to allow the existing accessory buildings as detailed on the proposed certified survey map to remain for lot 2 for Tim Abraham for the property located at W255 South 8355 Hilo Drive in the Village of Vernon. Is there a second to my request? My motion?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Rinaldi. Discussion from the Plan Commission?
I agree that a number of these are either agricultural or almost immaterial, doghouse and whatnot.
Yeah.
Plus they already exist, right? They
Right.
already exist. We're not creating new buildings here. It's just recognizing that we have to technically meet the requirements of the code.
Further discussion from the Plan Commission? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. No, this is not you.
No.
This is just Plan Commission. So I just wanted to make sure that the Plan Commission did do the waiver because it is conducive to the ordinance that the village board would make a recommendation to the village board on approving the certified survey map based upon the conditions stated by the planner dated December 11th, 2024. There are just 3 conditions that the Plan Commission would make in regards to Mr. Abrahamson's petition. Is there a motion to that effect of approval or denial? I'll make a motion to approve, recommend to the village board to approve the certified survey map for Tim Abrahamson for the property located at W255 South 8355 Hilo Drive, subject to the three conditions as stated by the planner December 11th, 2024. Is there a second to my motion?
I'll second it.
Second by trustee and commissioner Millies. Discussion from the plan commission? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Village board. Is there a motion to concur with plan commission's recommendation of proposal as stated by the village president and seconded by commissioner and trustee Millies? There's a motion by trustee Newman. Is there a second to trustee Newman's motion? Second by trustee Finch and Pecca. All in favor, discussion on that motion of approval. Hearing no discussion, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Tim, you're almost on your way now. Tim, if you have any questions, give us, a call. And then you've got, I did send you the planner comments, right? Yes.
Yeah.
So once those are updated, just send them, we'll take a quick peek, and then you'll be able to sign and record the CSM.
Okay, sounds fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Tim. Have a good evening.
Stay warm.
Okay, now, let's see. One of my favorite subjects here. Nick, are you coming forward, or is Mr. Shanahan coming forward, or both are coming forward? Let's, Mike, would you mind putting another chair up there? I'm sorry. This is a request for Michael Shanahan for this site plan of operation for the properties located at W228 South 6955 Enterprise Drive, tax key number 201982005. And for the property at W228 South 6934 to 6936, these are condo units on Enterprise Drive, units number 102 to 103, tax key number VNT 20199820116 to, let's see, it's units 100 to 101, 104 to 105, and 108 to 109. Tax key number 20199820014, 20199820015, 201982118, 20199821009, and 2022 and 23 for the property for Power Motorsports for the business known as Road, Track, and Trail. What I'll do, Mr. Shanahan and Mr. Reich, is...
Mr. Shanahan.
Are you Mr. Irwin?
Yes,
I thought, God, you look familiar. Mike,
Long-time resident of Vernon.
Yeah, Mike, what I'm going to do is have Sean, give an overview, and then if there's anything that you feel Sean hasn't picked up, we'll turn to you. This is not too formal. Sean will...
Yeah, thanks. I'm glad I didn't have to read all those tax key numbers. So Road, Track, and Trail, you wouldn't mind putting the overhead up there?
Sorry, guys.
Has operated in the village for many years. There's two properties. This is the condo property to the east side of Enterprise, and then the business on the west side. So this is 1.5 acres, and that one is about 3 acres. So the petitioner is looking to purchase the property, has purchased the property essentially. It's already been closed, but it's a new owner, so they need an approved site plan of operation as part of this. So that's what's going on here. The previous owner, Nick Rank, is going to maintain ownership of the west property and the 2 condo units that he owns on the east side of the property. The rest of the condo units that the business uses on the east side of the property are owned by Gents and that isn't going to be changing, at least at this point in time. So it's a power sports business. The west side, the property on the west side, is snowmobile sales, storage, and accessories, and then the property on the east side, motorcycles, ATVs, storage, and accessories as well. So everything is going to be operating as it was. Essentially, only the ownership is changing. In your packets, there's a couple of plans that were put together to make things simple. Here's the west side of the property. What's been previously approved are these outdoor storage areas for, and fences for inventory and so on. That'll be maintained. Also previously approved was outdoor display on the west side. That's not going to change. That'll be the same. On the east side, Here are the units that are part of the business, units 100 to 105, and then 108 to 109. Previously approved was outdoor display for this side of the business, and then outdoor storage and staging areas that were approved on the east side as well. So nothing's being proposed for change at this time. I just wanted to make it clear what's been previously approved over the years for the property so that we have a good record going forward. The plan of operation, as it's always been, is outlined in the staff report on page 2 and in the conditions as well. Outside of that, I don't have anything else to add.
I just want to state for the record too, before I let you jump in, Nick's been here for a long time and has been a great business owner, full compliance with his site plan of operation, always gets notification of his special events, so I just wanted to state for the record, that's quite nice for the Plan Commission to look forward to hear. So, Mr. Irwin or Nick, did you want to add anything to Sean's comments? It's pretty clean. I know they have a lot of information. Nick, just so you know, we gave them all the old stuff and all the new stuff, just so that they're fully aware of what was and what is going to be.
Just, excuse me, I'll give you a comment. The Shanahan Family Partnership is a family-owned group of businesses, and they operate 4 different golf cart distributorships and maintenance and servicing. They're out of state. The Shanahan family, all the members live in Houston, Texas. They were residents of Wisconsin for many years. The father is a longtime 50-year friend of mine, and so I know the family very well. They knew I lived in Vernon. By the way, the house just sold, and I'll be moving, or I started moving. Matter of fact, at the end of December, just for other facts. So after a couple dozen years here, I'm moving to a smaller house.
Not in Texas.
Huh?
You're not going to Texas.
No, north of here. But, so the family operates businesses for kind of a long-term approach. We've had a long-standing conversation and discussions with Nick, probably closing in almost 2 years, a year and a half at least, so that he could transition. He's too young to retire. I should retire. And he's trying to hand the business off to responsible parties. The management that's there today will stay and run the business, and Nick's staying on for a little bit to help us in the transition. I run a consulting business that helps in transition businesses from before to after, merger and acquisition work and advisory work. So I was brought in to help both parties affect a really good transition of the business. And we're really excited about this business, and you guys know the property and know what he does. And my wife refuses, she's here somewhere, and she refuses to let me buy one of those motorcycles. So that's my only comments. So.
Thanks, Mr. Irwin. And I have known, when you first came in, I thought, geez, that's Mr. Shen. He looks just like Mr. Irwin.
We belonged to church together for years.
Yeah, so he's a pretty honest guy. Plan Commission and Village Board, do you have any questions? The site plan of operation that was put in your packet for the zoning administrator or the petitioners? So what would happen now if you don't have any questions? Plan Commission would make a recommendation to the Village Board to approve the site plan of operations with the conditions stated by the planner, dated December 11th, 2024. Is there a motion to approve or deny at this point from the Plan Commission making their recommendation to the Village Board?
I'll make a motion to approve the Village Board.
As presented in the packet, December 11th, 2025?
Yes.
Is there a second to...
Second.
That was Commissioner Millies, Commissioner Trustee Millies, and second by Commissioner Rinaldi. Discussion from the Plan Commission? Discussion, hearing none. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. So now, Village Board, would there be a motion to concur with the Plan Commission's recommendation to approve the site plan of operation as presented on December 11th, 2024 with the conditions as stated by the planner today's date. I have a motion by Trustee Newman. Is there a second to the motion? Second by Trustee Pecca. Discussion from the board? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. I'm sorry you guys had to sit through this whole meeting.
We just had, you know, in the course of getting the permits for DOT and the operation, we're gonna need a document signed. Should we do that tonight? Or should we bring that in?
Is that the one that you needed before, Nick?
This one, this one.
Yeah, it's the resulting approval.
Yeah, you gotta do the transfer.
Yeah, for the-
Before you can go do the DOT.
The
You know-
dealership, yeah.
It's not on the agenda, but can we do it on would Thursday, this coming Thursday be soon enough?
Yeah, he's going to a family situation.
Yeah, since it's not on the agenda, nobody has, the right to sign. They have to get approval from the village board to sign something.
Okay.
Does that move you up as far as
Oh, this Thursday or next Thursday?
the 19th?
The 19th. I
Because-
could run over, because I'm under contract with the Shannons to.
Because I couldn't even amend the agenda for tomorrow.
Right.
It's not 20, and it's not any emergency. The state would see this as an emergency, so
Okay.
we'll put it on the agenda for next Thursday for the
Yeah.
village board.
And then, should I come to the meeting or just pick it up at the office, having been signed?
Could you come, Mike, just in case they have questions?
I'd have to check my calendar, but right now I'll say yes.
Maybe the 19th at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll, like I say, I don't have the
And
calendar.
Mike, is it okay if we keep this, or should I make a
Yeah,
copy?
no,
Yeah.
keep it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, gentlemen, your site plan of operation was approved, so we're done with this agenda item. Alrighty?
Nice seeing you.
Nice seeing you guys. Take care.
Take care.
See you on next Thursday, Mr. Irwin.
You bet.
Plan Commission, now we have discussion and an amendment to the land division control ordinance regarding cul-de-sacs. Sean, I wanted to say you did a really, really nice job of making those proposed changes. So what I'll ask Sean to do is a brief overview of what he has done, and then we'll turn to the Plan Commission and Village Board. Not that this is set in stone. What the premise of this is to have a public ready, a draft proposal for the public to look at and make comments to, but I'll turn it over to Sean to give an overview of the changes to the Land Division Control and Development Ordinance. Sean?
Yeah, so we talked about this last meeting, and the Plan Commission also talked about it as part of a special meeting back in October as well. We're talking about changes to cul-de-sacs in terms of in terms of length of cul-de-sac. You know, right now we limit to 600. Temporary versus permanent cul-de-sacs, waivers for length of cul-de-sacs, considerations for waivers, land divisions that happen at the end of cul-de-sacs, whether or not we allow them unless the cul-de-sac's extended, et cetera, et cetera. So we also talked about the measurement of cul-de-sacs at the last meeting in terms of how it should be measured, because there were some questions about that as well. So what I've done is I've taken the land division ordinance and redlined it in terms of what I thought were the things we talked about and discussed. So I'll just quickly go through that, and we can answer any questions. So on page 3 is the definition for a cul-de-sac. I've essentially added a sentence in there that talks about the cul-de-sac street length is measured from the center of the bulb to the center line of the closest intersecting street, which has more than one means of access. So essentially, it's a very long cul-de-sac, and there's ins and outs, and it doesn't really go anywhere. It still counts as cul-de-sac length. So I think that was important to clarify. The next bit of changes starts on page 26, which is the design standards for streets. Essentially, we talk about where a street terminates at an adjacent tract of land, the following shall apply to that adjacent tract of land. Again, so this gets at the point of what happens to the cul-de-sac, or what happens to the developable property at the end of a cul-de-sac. And so where something terminates at that tract of land, that tract shall not be considered for subdivision unless the subdivider extends the street onto the tract per the design standards for streets in the section. However, the village board, upon receipt of a recommendation from the Plan Commission, may approve a land division without the extension of the street, provided it's determined that the division will not impede the future street extension or the ultimate orderly development of the property. And Mike, that was something you raised. We should still be allowed to allow someone to split pieces of the property without, extending the cul-de-sac if it makes sense, and I think that language covers it. And then it also mentions that any development of the property, which is the adjacent tract, without the land division shall be limited to just one single-family residence and the associated accessory structures and uses, provided the location will not impede the future street extension or ultimate orderly development. So if someone owns that property at the end of a cul-de-sac, they can build a house and accessory buildings as long as it doesn't impede the extension of that future road. Let's see, page 28, we've stricken the temporary cul-de-sac, and then on page 30 gets at the actual design standards for a cul-de-sac. So the way it's written here, we've changed it from 600 feet to 1,200 feet in length. We do allow a waiver by the village board upon receipt of a recommendation from the Plan Commission where all of the following criteria have been met. And so the waiver doesn't have a limit as to the length. It's open-ended, but you have to essentially determine that topography, environmental constraints, the lack of potential for additional road connectivity from surrounding properties, and or other cited particular conditions warrant the need for additional cul-de-sac length. The extended cul-de-sac length will not cause undue traffic impact to any road intersection due to the scale of the proposed development, meaning too much, a bottleneck essentially at the intersect where the cul-de-sac meets another road, and that the chief of the fire department has to approve the waiver in writing prior to the village board's consideration of the waiver and modification request. So make sure that public safety is maintained. Let's see. And then finally, on page 41, we've struck in the attachments for the cross-section for a temporary cul-de-sac. So in a nutshell, that's it. The one other thing we talked about last time that actually was already addressed in the ordinance that I didn't realize was dedicating the right-of-way without construction of a road. So one of the things we talked about is that if a developer would essentially dedicate the right-of-way to a property, adjacent property, but wouldn't build the cul-de-sac all the way to the end, who would ultimately pay to have that road extended is an issue. But our ordinance already addresses that on page 25. So under design standards, section 200-32D already says proposed streets shall extend to the boundary lines of the tract being subdivided unless prevented by topography, et cetera, and in the opinion of the Plan Commission, such extension is not necessarily for coordination of layout, et cetera. So we already require that road to extend to the edge of the property, so that's already covered. Thoughts, questions, length, temporary versus permanent, waivers?
Gentlemen, any comments? Anything you want to add or change? What we would do is we
schedule a public hearing at this point, yeah.
And bring it to the public for their input. And
I have a quick question.
Trustee Finch?
As far as the fire department goes, has Alex already, this particular cul-de-sac we're talking about, has he already seen?
The changes we proposed so far, no. We'll certainly ask him about the change from 600 to 1,200 and then and requiring his approval if we grant the waiver. We'll definitely ask him that before the public hearing.
And he's always asked. Even now, I mean, if we've had this happen, he always provides something in
at least an email or something that says,
Okay, good.
So where are we measuring the 1,200 feet from exactly? Is it from the main road or from?
So it's from the bulb, it's from the cul-de-sac bulb all the way back to where there would be two options to go, two different access routes.
You got a bulb at the very end of the bulb?
The center of the bulb, the center of the bulb to the center of the intersecting street lines.
Okay.
If there's discussion, how far back you go?
Right.
Yeah, and it's so difficult because, you know, properties are also different. And adjacent properties to different properties are, you know, I mean, it's all different scenarios that we're seeing.
Yeah.
So this gives you more flexibility and the right to say no if it doesn't make any sense.
Now, they're like, if you're extending, you know, onto this road, you're creating more traffic, you have to worry about having a decel and accelerating off where it's coming off the main road?
I mean, possibly. The point of that condition essentially is that we don't want to put 200 homes on one cul-de-sac on one access point because that's going to create a nightmare.
That's what I'm saying, you need the.
So there might be considerations for improvements to the intersection, certainly, yeah.
And then we call in the engineer, DPW director.
Right.
I mean, we'd get some,
Exactly.
you know,
If it's
nothing
a
against
county
the
road, we'd involve the county.
Right, yeah. But the question is do you feel this is ready to go to a public hearing? We can't do it in January because of the notice of ratifications because it's a class 2.
It's class 2, yeah.
What
There
is the
should be
date?
time. No?
One little addition,
Yeah.
I'm just reading the chief of Vernon Fire Department, I know at a lot of others, it says or designee. Maybe just adding that, just in case there was a point where there was an interim or, you know, his powers were given to someone else. I know a lot of times it'll say or
Yeah,
designee.
I've seen that before, that
Yeah,
makes
that's
sense to me.
good point, Mike. Good point.
So do you think there's not time to notice it for January?
It's just a class 2, but then
Yeah.
there's notice to all surrounding municipalities. We should be able to do it for January 8th.
You need 30 days.
No, you just need, it's got to be noticed the week, 1 week prior and then any time in the week before that.
Right, that's not a problem. So is there a motion to conduct a public hearing on January 8th, 2026? Do you want separate motions, Sean? Or can they, let's see what it says on the agenda.
Well,
There
it
is
just says
none.
possible action on the agenda, right? Oh, it's got plan commission first.
Yeah, and to the village board.
So is there a recommendation from the Plan Commission to recommend conducting a public hearing on January 8th, 2025 at 6 p.m. for the Land Division and Development Control Ordinance?
I would recommend that.
Okay, it was by Commissioner Rinaldi. Is there a second to Commissioner Rinaldi's motion by the Plan Commission?
I'll second.
By Commissioner Alex. Discussion. Discussion from the Plan Commission. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Is there a motion from the Village Board to concur with Plan Commission's recommendation of a public hearing on January 8th, 2025, 6 p.m.? That was, motion was made by Trustee Newman. Is there a second to the motion by the Board?
I'll second.
Second by Trustee Finch. Discussion from the Village Board. Discussion, hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. So we're done with that agenda item. Next agenda item is approval of Plan Commission minutes for Wednesday, November 13th, 2024. And just so the Plan Commission knows, Sean's conditions that were drafted on October 9, 2026 would be part of these minutes if they're approved, so that instead of trying to paraphrase what Sean said, actually having that as an exhibit would be part of these minutes. So I would look for a motion from the Plan Commission to either approve or...
I'll make a motion to approve with adding Sean's comments.
Oh,
Conditions.
yeah, it's right in the minutes, just so you know. Is there a second to Trustee Commissioner's motion for Plan Commission?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Rinaldi. Discussion from the Plan Commission? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Is there a motion to concur with Plan Commission's recommendation from the Village Board for approval of November 13, 2024 that was made by Trustee Finch? Is there a second to that motion? Second by Trustee Newman. Discussion from the Village Board? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Board members, we hope to have all those other minutes at your next Plan Commission meeting, or if we can get them to you ahead of time so you can, there's a lot of minutes there. So, And with that, I'd entertain a motion from the Plan Commission to adjourn. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second.
Discussion from the Plan Commission. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Plan Commission is adjourned at 7:45. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Plan Commission
Thank you.
members.
Can we take a short break?
Yes, yes, we have to take a
So
short
the
break.
board's continuing?
Yes, yes, board's continuing.
Take care.
You too.
Have a Merry Christmas, Sean.
Yeah, I will see everybody.